Like Karen, I sort of struggled a little bit on what I wanted to talk about tonight, and it came to me in a blinding light and a big voice that said, "I am." No, I have recently discovered the art of delegation. And I thought that tonight might be good because we have a lot of folks that are business owners and company executives. And how many of you run your businesses on a day-to-day basis? Everybody, right? All right. And the question then becomes, do you do it all? No. Should you do it all? So how do we effectively delegate to the people that we're dealing with on a regular basis? That we need to make sure that our businesses are also being run effectively by the people around us. Now, delegation is an interesting thing because most people think of delegation as I give somebody a project and let's move on. Hope to God they get it done. And recently I've been working with some organizations and even myself to delegate a little bit more effectively, because if you're like me, I am the only person that can get it done properly. I know it all and I should be doing it all. And I've discovered a couple of things. First and foremost, I don't know it all. That I have an issue with things like that I don't have the time. And there are some things that I don't have the inclination to do. So it's very important to look at ways to delegate. So I went back and I pulled through some of our stuff on it, and I pulled through some other stuff. And I discovered that delegation has really a couple of purposes. And it's more than just getting work done. Delegation is designed to do a couple of things that are very important to your business. First and foremost, they're an opportunity to grow your people. If you have individuals in your organization that have the potential to do more things, delegation is the way to go about getting them involved. It can be part of your succession planning, which of course will be another talk that I'll come to at a later date. The other thing that they do is they get those jobs done that need to be done on a regular basis, that we don't take time to. But the real key to being effective at delegation is planning. That we just don't say to somebody, here, I need you to do this. That we sit and we plan it properly. And one of the things that I hadn't been doing in delegation, and even as a manager of people, I hadn't done, was I hadn't sat down and planned it properly. And planning is really the key to anything that we look at. And planning for delegation is very simple. First and foremost, you either pick the person or you pick the project. If you pick the project, then you can pick the person. If you pick the person, then you pick the project. I know, doesn't it sound like, yes, and then I also have swampland in Florida that I like to sell to you as well. It sounds like doublespeak, but it really isn't, because it allows you the flexibility as a delegator to sit down and say, is it a project that I need to get done, and who's the best person to deal with that? So that you can go to your best people and say, this is what I need you to do. Or if you have somebody that you want to grow, you want to sit down and say, what would this person be good at to start out with? And then, and this is the key, you sit down and you talk to them. It's that ugly communication thing coming down. We were talking about it earlier today. We're losing the art of effective communications with our people. So in a delegation process, once you've decided the plan or the project and the person, sit down and talk to them. Tell them what evil thoughts you have about, this is what I want you to do. And now here's where it starts to come off of your shoulders a little bit. You then say to them, once they've bought in, and they'll buy in. Once they've bought in, you then go, now tell me how you're going to get it done. And give them a time frame. And just say, this is what I want you to do. Tell me how you're going to do it. And then come back and they tell you how you're going to do it. And you, because you're now the savvy business person that has inspired me to be involved in that, sits down and says, that'll work, that won't work, you need to change this, this could be a little bit different. And then once you've agreed on all of those changes and made it work for them and they've bought in, you let them have at it. And the only thing that now you're required to do is make sure that they come back to you or that you check in on a regular basis and say, how are we doing? What challenges are you having? What could we be doing differently? And how is your progress coming? And by the time you're done, you have a project completed. Now I'll tell you how I discovered that I was doing it wrong. Because being who I am, I never do too many things wrong. I'm incorrect occasionally, but I never do anything wrong. But I found out that I wasn't delegating properly. And here's how I found out. Recently, and I've told this to many of you, recently I became the booster president for the Arnold High School Blue Thunder Band. No, it's not, it's for your, I need your sympathy on that, and maybe your money later, I don't know. And none of those organizations will function without volunteers. It's a job that you take on, and the first thing you yell out is help. For God's sakes, will somebody please help me? And what we discovered was we had all of these people that were more than willing to jump in and do the job. Oh, I'll do it. I'm more than happy. I've got the time, yada, yada. And you'd sit there and go, okay, those are great people. We'll have them do it. And then you find out they have neither the talent nor the inclination to really do it. And then you look stupid. So I got a lot of feedback because let me tell you that parents of a booster organization are more than willing to give you feedback. Whether you want it or not, they will give you feedback. So what we discovered was we had all these people going, what were you thinking when you assigned that person to the chairman of that committee? I will never work with that person in my entire life. Who do you think you are? Well, I did something that I've never really thought about and how important it was. I sat down and I talked with all my chairmen. I went one-on-one with them. I didn't get them together in a room. I went one-on-one with them. And I found out a little bit about the people that I was working with. And just in doing that little thing, and I bring it back to what you have to do as a business owner is talk to your people. And by finding out that little bit and taking that little time, and I'm no big deal, I'm the band booster president. I sit in a meeting and get yelled at all day long. But when that little thing that I found out was that added more to the caring and the willingness to get the job done. So I went and I started talking to some business people and I said, what do you do when you delegate? Do you talk to your people? And a couple of them said yes. Most of them said, no, I just give them the idea and they go on it. That's called dumping. And you get what you pay for then. But when I made the suggestion to them to go out and talk to their people and sit down and tell them exactly what your expectations were and find out what their limitations were, the amazing thing was the people that they had picked suddenly got excited about the job they've been asked to do. And if we're looking for engaged individuals who are going to help us become successful, because delegation isn't just getting the job done, it's getting our job done. And if you work for an organization, what you're delegating is a responsibility that is yours. It's not just the company's, it's your responsibility. So if the person you delegate to fails, who else has failed? You've failed. You don't want to fail, do you? You want to be successful. So we have to have that addition to whatever we do. We have to remind people, delegation means we're all going to be successful together. Now, when you pick people, how am I doing on time? Oh, I got a lot of time. When you pick people, you have to think hard on this. And one of the suggestions we have is that you take a look at your people and say, who are the people that I work with? And put them on a chart. And the nice thing about it, and it really meets to the ego of everything that we do, is you start out on a piece of paper and you put you in the middle. You say me, because the most important person in the world is me, right? Sorry, Karen, it is. And you put me in the middle, and then you put all the people around you that worked with you and report to you. And you look at them and you say, okay, based upon these people, how many are really good at doing their job? And you give them an A. Then you say, how many people are pretty good at their job? And you give them a B. And then you go, how many people need a lot of work? And you give them a C. Okay? Then you go back and you look at the people and you say, how many of these people, if I left tomorrow, how many of these people could take over my job? And you give them another A. If you think that person could take over your job. I know nobody could take over your job, right? It's my job, damn it. Well, Karen swore and everybody laughed. I figured I'd throw one in too. So I can't wait for her to see the YouTube later. Anyway, so you give them, now, then you look at the people and you look at the same people and you say, how many could possibly do the job but need a lot of work? Those are Bs. And then you say, how many people do you have that there's no way in God's green earth I would ever let them run this company? Those are C's. Got it? Now the interesting thing is you're going to have people who are AAs, ABs, BAs, BCs, and CCs. Okay? If somebody is a double C, don't just put them away. Find a little drawer and put them in a little drawer. And all the employees are now sitting there going, oh, I hope to God I'm not a CC. BBs are great people because they're your backbone. They're the people that will never change. They like what they're doing. They have no ambition to do anything more, no ambition to do anything less. They're solid. They work every day. God bless them. Then you have your AAs. AAs are what we refer to as stallions. Sometimes in some companies we say it's not a matter of if they're going to leave, it's a matter of when. Okay? So one of the keys in looking at delegation is to take a look at your AAs and say we need to delegate more to them because we want to keep them happy and keep them at our organization for as long as we can. So we need to give them some extra responsibility. Those are people where you sit and you look at them and go, I have this job that needs to be done. It's important for me to get it done. I'll delegate it to one of them. Then you look at people who are BAs that need some work, or ABs. And you say to yourself, these are the people who identify as people that need work, need to improve. And I say, those are the people now that I find a task for. I identify the person and I see how this works, that you either have a task and say, this is the person that will work on this task, or I have a person and I want to work on that task. But the key and then the last thing that I want to leave you with is that old thing about when you start going back and saying to somebody, here's what needs to be done. And they just say, okay, I'll do it. And they're all fired up and they run out and they run around like crazy people and they go do it and life is good. And then you go back and you say, how are things going? And you get a different answer than you expected. I have a problem. Now, being successful people, what we want to do is what? Help them, right? The danger in helping them is that we may buy it back. Oh, I'll take that over. I understand you're suffering with it. Let me buy it back. Don't buy it back. They planned it. They need to finish it. The other aspect is saying, well, we can get to that in a little while. Let's put it on hold for a bit. Don't put it on hold. They planned it. They need to finish it. Or the final step is we're moving forward, and then we need to encourage them. So if you're looking to grow your business, if you're looking to develop to that next step, identify the people that you have on board that can take those roles over, that are things that need to be done, that are important to you as a business owner, and say, how do I get these done and get it done efficiently so I can do bigger and better things with my time? That's delegation. My success has been that I have a better team working now for me as volunteers than I ever had working as paid people looking to get ahead in the business, because I took the time to talk to them, grow them, and encourage them to be successful in building an organization to support other people. Thank you so much. Have a great night.